We've seen too many mid-market companies make the same expensive mistake when choosing between Acumatica and NetSuite. They focus on features instead of fit. And that mistake can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. In the next few minutes, we'll see what kinds of businesses succeed with NetSuite, which thrive with Acumatica, and what both systems really cost once you add implementation. NetSuite is the most widely deployed cloud ERP in the world, and like Acumatica, it's built for mid-market companies in the 50 to 200 employee range. NetSuite has that reputation because of its maturity, especially in financials. Acumatica takes a different path as the fastest growing ERP in manufacturing and distribution, offering flexibility without the rigid pricing of larger ERPs. Now, if you tried Googling pricing for either system, you probably noticed most sources only share vague ranges or outdated numbers. There's a reason for that, and I'll explain what you really need to expect. ERP pricing has three moving parts that make published prices unreliable. First, there's software licensing. This varies widely based on your specific modules, user types, and vendor relationships. We've seen 40 to 60% price differences between vendors for identical configurations. Second, implementation costs. This is often where sticker shock sets in. A $3,000 per month license can suddenly balloon to $100,000 once setup is factored in. Some vendors entice you with low software pricing and then make up the margin on implementation. And third, hidden ongoing costs. Additional user licenses, storage overages, third-party integrations, support beyond basic, these add up fast. And here's what I can tell you. Across the ERP market, a total first-year investment for small manufacturers with 5 to 15 users typically falls between $60,000 and $250,000. And for mid-size operations with 25 to 50 users, you're usually looking at $150,000 to $600,000 in the first year. Acumatica typically offers more flexible pricing that scales without per-user fees. It's based on resource consumption, like the number of sales orders, shipments, and payments you process. But it may require heavier customization to match those specific workflows. NetSuite usually has a higher per-user license cost, yet provides more out-of-the-box functionality and standardized modules. In other words, NetSuite's pricing scales with people, Acumatica's pricing scales with usage. The bottom line, you don't make your ERP decision based on 1 month's software costs. Focus on the 3-year total ROI, including implementation quality and vendor support. We've helped hundreds of businesses navigate this exact decision. We know which vendors give realistic quotes, which implementation partners actually deliver on time, and what questions to ask to avoid nasty surprises. Head over to softwareconnect.com for vetted vendor quotes. We can connect you with the right partners for your specific situation. Let's shift gears and talk about what each system does well. To start, NetSuite offers mature global capabilities. It supports over 200 currencies, tax jurisdictions, and subsidiary roll-ups. In other words, it's a strong choice if you have international operations or complex ownership structures. Its Suite Tax feature also makes life easier for franchises and e-commerce companies by automatically handling sales tax across different jurisdictions. Second, it's truly an all-in-one system. NetSuite combines ERP, CRM, and e-commerce in one platform, with accounting at its core. Global teams can switch between consolidated and local dashboards, run GAAP or IFRS reports, and drill into details with daily exchange rates updates. Its AI-driven exception management flags anomalies and suggests fixes before they slow close. And with built-in automation for currency translations and intercompany eliminations, you'll often find far fewer third-party integrations. But if you do need integrations, NetSuite's got you covered. It's one of the oldest cloud ERPs out there, so there's a huge ecosystem of partners and add-ons. You'll find plenty of third-party tools and connectors, especially for e-commerce and omni-channel selling. That long track record combined with Oracle's backing makes it a strong choice for companies that are scaling fast and want a system that can keep up. On to Acumatica. One of the biggest things that sets it apart is its flexibility, especially in how you can deploy it. You can run it in the cloud, on your own servers, or even on-prem if that's what your IT team prefers. That gives you more control over where your data lives and when updates happen. Unlike NetSuite, which is cloud only. And we've already talked about how the pricing model lets you bring in as many users as you want. I'm also a big fan of its low-code customization. You get drag and drop fields, custom filters, personal dashboards, all without needing a developer on staff. Non-technical users can adapt the system to their needs. Acumatica gives you the kind of workflow flexibility you normally expect from enterprise systems, but with fewer hoops. Each user can customize their dashboard and filter data in ways that reflect how they actually work. Its core system is highly flexible, but may require significant tailoring if you start from scratch. That's why Acumatica offers pre-built industry editions like manufacturing and construction with sector-specific workflows ready out of the box. So dependent upon your industry, Acumatica can either feel very customizable or pre-configured. So let's talk about where NetSuite can fall short. Not gonna lie, pricing is a common pain point. NetSuite charges per named user, including part-timers and occasional users, and those costs can add up fast. A lot of companies also see the renewal rates jump after the first year, especially if you get a big upfront discount. And once you're locked into a contract, it's hard to scale back. You typically can't reduce licenses or modules mid-term, which makes it tough to manage costs if your needs change. And for smaller teams, especially under 20 people, NetSuite can be overkill. It's powerful, no doubt, but that power can slow you down if you just need something lighter or more agile, like Odoo. Finally, NetSuite covers most finance, operations, and compliance needs out of the box, so you won't have to start from scratch like with Acumatica. But industry editions can still leave gaps that need extra consulting or third-party modules. For example, there's no built-in support for complex or process manufacturing, and because it relies on SuiteScript and runs only in the cloud, customization is less flexible for IT teams used to open systems. The result? NetSuite works well for a broad range of companies, but if you're in a highly specialized sector or need more technical flexibility, it might not be ideal. Now let's look at where Acumatica might not be the best fit. First, Acumatica has come a long way with its global reach. You'll find multi-currency support and international tax compliance. But if you're running subsidiaries across many regions with really specific regulatory needs, NetSuite still has the edge. Its longer track record with complex multinational rollouts, especially in areas like the EU, gives you more confidence that nothing slips through the cracks when it comes to compliance. Second, the pricing model, while flexible, can also be tricky. Instead of per-user fees, it's based on transaction volumes and resource use, which makes costs harder to predict. Suddenly, growth or seasonal spikes can push you into a higher tier and raise monthly expenses, creating budget challenges for some teams. Finally, Acumatica offers industry editions, but that broad reach can also be a drawback. Because it's built to serve so many sectors, the core features are more generalized. You can configure them to fit, but if your business relies on very specialized workflows, you might find it lacks the depth of an ERP that's built just for one sector. In short, Acumatica offers a lot of flexibility, but it's not the best match for global rollouts or very high volume operations. So what's the verdict? If you operate globally or handle financials across multiple entities and regulatory environments, go with NetSuite. But if you're growing fast and want to avoid getting nickel and dimed every time you add a user, Acumatica may be the smarter long-term play. Still not sure which one best fits your business? We've got you covered. Hit the link in the description to see our full ERP roundup. Or check out our video comparing the top 4 platforms, including NetSuite, Acumatica, SysPro, and Dynamics 365. You can see how they all stack up.